This is an unofficial fan-made audiobook. All original stories are owned by Wizards of the Coast. If you are enjoying these stories, please consider subscribing to my Patreon over at patreon.com/voxoraculum for some special patron-exclusive content. Thanks. On with the story. Edge of Eternities, Episode 7. Revision 12. The Hole. Haliya catches herself staring at the hole in Sir Vondam's skull again. She looks away sharply, but it's too late. He's seen her. The surgeons did an admirable job sealing up the ends, but the burned tunnel is still there, in his brain. She let the coward Alpharael throw a black hole through her knight's skull. "Tongue," Vondam says wryly. "I'm not." "It was a joke, Squire." "I see, sir." The pale star that bears them is named the Sundog, but everyone aboard calls her the Bark, due to some Pale Star crew tradition Haliya doesn't know. She doesn't know a lot about what's going on. She wants to turn to her knight and say, "Sir, should I just shut up and trust you?" But she's afraid he won't say yes. The technic at the defensive station calls out, "Taro Duand, traffic radar has detected us." "Send Sir Vondam's message," the Sundog's captain orders. "If the guns start looking for us, jam first, then alert me second." They left at the dawn sire in a secret rush, telling no one, not even Captain Slats. Haliya didn't get to say goodbye to her bind. This is understandable. Sometimes duty must be swift. But there's a hole in his head. He needs time to heal. He treats himself like he won't heal. He treats himself like he's not a real person. He's still wearing the same bandages she wrapped around him on the day he died. All he will say is that they are going to find and kill Alpharael. And on his oath as a knight, it's not about revenge. "Sundog," the radio says. "This is Taro Duand. You are big on the radar. We have no big landing spots. Orbit south, alters 30 or divert." "Repeat my first message," Vondam orders. "Give them another chance to hand over the spy. Launch the hoplights. I want overhead surveillance, a threat map, and a track on the ship that brought Alpharael here from the crash site. Then we'll make a pass and drop the ship's photophoroi for a grid search. They might take a shot at us. My airfoil's vulnerable." The captain hates operating his Pale Star in atmosphere. Planets are, in contrast to popular stereotype, more of a danger to spaceships than the other way round. Except in cases like Haliya's childhood. Cases of wholesale, one-sided extermination. "True the sum, Captain." "I trust you, sir," the captain says. He has been eyeing Vondam with a mixture of awe and professional worry since he came aboard. "No one on this ship is afraid to die. My concern is that we not waste the ship. We don't have many assets near Kavaron. If the Imperial Cav government decides to shoot us down, they have the guns overhead. As long as we kill the target first, Captain, they can fire the guns all they please." This isn't just empty rhetoric. What Vondam's saying is, if we all die here, it'll be okay, as long as we achieve our mission. The sum is not an abstract divinity. It's a real, hard figure. Increasing it is the mission. Making that number bigger is the faith. And no one in Sothera lacks faith in their mission. They are here to reignite a dead star. Compared to that, what is a life? Haliya wishes Kavaron were here to explain the right summist interpretation of this situation. "Come," Vondam mutters. "It's time we talk about what's happening here." "Oh," Haliya says. She's been waiting for this conversation for days. Now that it's here, she's terrified. Sir?" Yes?
Before you go into battle, it would be good to wash you and reapply your himsaries. Can I do that while you brief me?
It would be good, Vondam says. But I want you to look me in the eye, not daubing sweat off my wrinkled ass. This is difficult to face alone. Come on. He gives her a comradely strike over the shoulders. Let me introduce you to the Anatholmanac. He gives her a quartz memory crystal. She uses a finger laser to read it. He no longer smells of argan oil. He smells like nail polish remover. His body is burning up. She reads, Moral imperative. Set thy hand aflame. All those knights present, all in unison. Tear open a 1-liter stoop of pure water, 299K. Plunge thy burning hand within. When the water boils away, mark a tally on the stoop. Open a new liter of water, and begin again. Do not deviate in this, even as you read. It is an entry in a catalogue of terrors. It describes how to handle an object of appalling power. If you fail, you will be replaced by a self that is not yourself. It will take utter possession of all thy knowledge and deeds. It will walk as you, and no one shall ever know it is not you, and of you nothing shall remain. Prefer annihilation. She swallows.
This object, she says, it makes you other than yourself. This is what you think has happened to you, sir.
He nods. The dead spot beside his nose catches the blue light of the Pale Star's armory. Photophoroi file in from the sauna, nude and rowdy, slapping at each other as they fit their gear. I've been delaying this conversation as long as I can, he says. Because once we have it, you will understand some very difficult truths. But we can begin with what I believe is happening. I believe one such object is in Sothera. I believe the True Faith's mission in Sothera threatens the object. Therefore, I believe it is calling out for a wielder, someone who can make use of its power. And if it finds that wielder, I believe it will destroy our mission, prevent the resurrection of Sothera as a star, and deny us the billions of sun years Sothera might contribute to the sum. Even those of us who survive will become unwitting instruments of Inevita, fated to help the enemy triumph. She can't help it. She gives him her mother's, "Is that so?" face. He laughs. I've never seen that expression before.
Alpharael had no such object, sir.
No, but he will. That's why he was able to escape the Dawnsire. The object manipulated everything. Captain Slat's vision, my death, and my survival. All of it was intended to bring Alpharael away from his own people and to the object.
How? Is it a god? Can it do anything?
No, thank the Sam. It has limits. It can only influence pasts connected to its wielder. All the improbabilities surround Alpharael. That's what tipped me off, when Captain Slats foresaw my very improbable death as a certainty. I knew something untruth was afoot. It surrounds Alpharael. He will contact this object.
Time doesn't work that way, sir. The present is the present. Things that haven't happened yet haven't happened yet. If Alpharael escaped to find this object, because he escaped to find this object would be tautological. It wouldn't make sense. He would have to find it honestly, without any eerie influence. And if he did that, he wouldn't need the eerie influence.
The fact that it was possible, no matter how improbable, for him to escape and find the object, allows the object to make it certain that he would. It can't make the impossible happen, but it can lean very hard on possibility.
Fine, sir. I accept that in some anathematic way, this object can influence the wielder's past,
she says, even if she does not accept that this extends to making Sir Vondam unstruth.
What can we do about it?
We can kill him.
But the object will protect him. It will make his fantastically unlikely survival certain.
Yes. In fact, it already has. I suspect, he lowers his voice, that we probably came here with a much stronger force. Many knights and their lances, possibly more than one ship. But the object has made them improbable. This is a nightmare. She wants to argue. But what's the point? It's untruth. Anathematic reality. Of course it offends and confuses her.
We can drop all these foot soldiers on Taro Duand, she says, and search every micron of every structure down there. But if fortune is on Alpharael's side, he'll always slip away.
Yes. We don't know if he'll find the object here. Perhaps it's buried on Kavaron, or if he'll catch a ship somewhere else. But no matter what, we have to stop him before he makes contact with it. Do you remember Protocol 7?
She checks the Anath Almanac again.
7. Radiant resignation. Destroy yourself, all those about you, and the object, by the most immediate and violent means available. Disregard all your oaths and vows against harm to the uninvolved. Nihilists force you to it. The blame is theirs, not yours. Recorded successes. 1. Moral imperative. Should an avowed enemy of the Summist faith, in particular a nihilist, contact the anathema, proceed without deviation to the 7th protocol.
Why, she asks, why this spasm?
Think about it. It needs a wielder to help it choose between alternate pasts. The wielder's past becomes the object's area of influence. What is the core tenet of the enemy faith?
That all futures end in black holes.
He lets her think it out.
If a monoist gets this object, she says, and brings it into a black hole, especially a black hole that joins Ineviter, then the object will have access to all the pasts that have ended in a black hole. By the end of time, to a near approximation, that's all of them.
How should we stop him? Now she stares.
Sir?
My decisions can't be trusted. The object has touched me. It has guided a black hole through my brain. In a sense, Haliya, you are now the knight, and I the squire. She shrieks out loud, covers her mouth. Some of the Photophoroi soldiers stare.
Sorry, sir. That was just a very frightening thing to hear.
I know. He smiles wanly. But you must know what to do.
We obey the Anath Almanac. The only decisions we can trust are those completely determined by powers outside our control. That's why the Anath Almanac uses the stars as a guide.
Correct. Can you do what it requires? She thinks through the implications of the Anath Almanac's instructions very carefully. Destroy yourself, all those about you, and the object, by the most immediate and violent means available.
Can I kill myself?
Not yourself, Vondam says. You won't be there. You'll be aboard the Sundock while I go down. But, if it becomes necessary, can you give the order to fire?
Can she order the Sundock to train its Nuncio lasers and ship-to-ship missiles on her own knight, obliterating him? I don't know, she says. I don't know if I can order your death, sir. Because he's going to order her to kill him, isn't he? Even if they succeed. He thinks he's Anstruth, a tainted imposter.
Not just my death, Vondam says. Be clear-eyed, squire. Once Alpharael has the object, it has power over his entire past, anyone he may have encountered. That includes us, and it includes the entire Cav population of Taro Duand. Adults, juveniles, pets, and beasts of burden. Everything. Can you destroy it all? This is a test. Incident question. Coherent response.
No,
She says, incoherent but certain.
no, I can't order that. It's indiscriminate. It's not knightly.
It's like the death that fell on her home. Hot instead of cold. Swift instead of slow. But it's the same. Extermination of the innocent in the name of a tenet of doctrine, even if the doctrine is true. Wondham's hand is shaking. We must. The sum is clear. The instructions written in that Anatholmanac are written in blood. Disobeying them has caused unimaginable devastation. We can't imagine it because we don't know how many times we failed. He takes a huge breath, exhales, and nods. He's convincing himself along with her. Killing anyone who's been in contact with the object is protocol. The same as a pre-flight safety checklist, or sterilization before you go into surgery. You have to obey protocol every time, or it doesn't work. It only takes one dropped tool or dirty finger to crash the ship or kill the patient. There are things we have to do to keep the world safe. And if you slip on them once, you slip on them every time.
I said no.
Squire,
I won't do it. I'm not going to kill a settlement full of defenseless innocents. I'm not going to help do it either.
now the photophoroi are really staring at them. Even the officers. What would Santafor do? He'd pretend not to understand and keep asking for an explanation. What would Isidore do? He'd leap into action, killing them all. What would Kavaron do? She'd explain to the rest of them why it was necessary and obvious. And what would Quinidad do? Little Quinidad who taught Haliya how to see in battle. She'd sit down and try to work out the sum, adding up all the short and long-term consequences of the possible choices here, sum the tensors, like she was advising a cosmogrand on policy. This is what Haliya does.
There's a better option,
She says.
You don't go down there. I do. You conduct your search, grid by grid. I find the place where Alpharael's improbable escape is most likely, or most unlikely. I armor myself with one of the Anatholmanac's tricks. Catch him there, and kill him.
If she's too late, if he already has the object, she has a plan. But she won't tell Vondam. She can't tell Vondam. Esquire has a duty to be honest to her knight. But Haliya has one duty she thinks is higher. Vondam begins to cry silently. The tears of pride. I can't do that, he says. It's the right choice. But I can't do it. Send my squire in my place? Never. It wouldn't be knightly.
You have no choice,
Haliya says through a choked throat.
You have a hole in your head. The object might have put it there. You might have a seizure or drop dead at the worst moment. We can't allow ourselves to be influenced by sentiment, because the sentiment might not be ours. We have to do as the sum instructs. We must obey instructions written in the stars, because it cannot change the stars.
He covers his eyes. What would the Vondam you know do? He trusts the Vondam she remembers more than the Vondam he is. She begins to cry, too.
Sir,
She says.
he would remember his squire's oath. Dawn is growing. So must we grow the count of dawns to be. And he would...
That's not fair, he says, laughing through tears. The litany? That's not fair.
And he would give his squire a chance to be worthy of those oaths, she belts out.
Just spit it out, Haliya. Just fire the words without thinking. Or you'll let yourself notice how terribly you're hurting him.
He would give her a chance to be worthy of his trust.
She's going to be worthy of more than that. But she can't tell him. Or he would never let her go. Revision 12. 2 Fallen. Alpharael dreams of falling. He falls through his past, a bullet blasted down the course of fate, shot from his artificial womb alongside his twin sister. He sees Raphaela, and he sees her chosen to go into Cythera on her final plummet, her first plummet into the next eternity. Their courses diverge. I tell him this is important, this twinning separation. One twin cast into the singularity, one twin turned away. It makes him potent. You won't be offended, I hope, that I prefer him to you. It's just that he's so close to Inevita. You want to know, what is Inevita? It is what survives at the end of time. You want to know if I am a creature of Inevita. But I'm not telling. Alpharael's used me already to get rid of the cav. Revision 12. An easy change. I preserved the present, armoured cav in the Sarima's cargo bay, but changed the past, the vector of the Hope Light's descent and its radiation, so that the cav came to the Sarima not as captors, but as walking corpses. Alpharael dreams of falling. Falling into the far future, the deep abyss of cosmic evolution. Begin in me thy ending, he begs. Chart for me the way I walk. He sees all the space between the walls, the shell between two bubbles, between everything and nothing. He sees how the stars will eat their fuel and go out. He sees how the dark masses that remain will draw each other together and collapse. The cosmos will be struck clean of its errors, shriven of all waste and impermanence. Shrive me, he begs. Make me fringent to the narrow course of thy heart. For all things will surely be fringent to Inevita, caught on its border and destined to reach its heart. Down will be the same as tomorrow. Pare from me fate's gore. Let him simplify the path. Let him hasten the coming of Inevita. Oh, Raphaela, are you there already, waiting in the next eternity of which Inevita dreams? For it is certain to him, as it has never been certain before, that monoism will truly, inevitably, and provably triumph. For it is not certain. And all his certainties are overthrown. He glimpses the cosmos, and it is larger than any faith. It is older and stranger than any vision. There are colours to it, down at the deepest substructure. The black grasp of gravity and entropy, the white void that transmits force, the blue law of structure, the sprawling green complexity and the roaring red furnace that both eats and feeds it all. Yet there are also colourless things. There are things older than man, and things older yet. Am I one of those things? Well, I think by the end you'll know. In the face of this revelation, he can only beg for mercy. Inevita, draw me down! Put out my eyes and close my ears! Yes, close the sweep of the cosmic past, set it aside, and look to the end. The far future of the universe is a field of supervoids like black diamonds in fiery sockets. This is the prophecy of any conceivable past, the cosmological end state. Do you understand, Alpharael, why you were meant to wield me? You are the sibling of the Eton twin. You are adjacent to inevitability. Fragile, yet so close to divinity. As I am also close to divinity. A hip, a shoulder, an empty face, skin like leaves, a love that loves itself. You'll see. No one is there to shake Alpharael awake. He gasps at the slap of sensation. Dry, cool air, straps around his body, oily synthetic fabric against his bare hands and feet. No salt water lapping at the nape of his neck. He's alive. I live, he croaks. No one answers. He's strapped to a vertical bunk in the smallest little rack of bunks he's ever seen. The overhead light is a dim orange, like a hot wire. Art on the wall displays a huge-eyed cat batting a binary star system. It's tagged with a word or a name. Errata. Everything smells like must and mould. His forearms are free. He has no problem unstrapping himself. He slumps forward and moves to bury his face in his hands. There's a hole in his right hand. He stares at it. Yes, a hole right through his hand, palm to dorsum. It's perfectly transparent and edged in a ring of refraction. There's a little swirl to it, like it's slowly twisting. Like an enormous, invisible drive shaft runs through his hand, and it's cranking up to speed. He stands back up straight and tries to wake up. What happened? Sami made him touch the stone in the ball of sheer starch. There were Cav who threatened him. But why was he afraid? The Cav had radiation poisoning. And he heard a voice. Hello, Alpharael. He leaps up and cracks his head on the overhead above and stumbles out, swearing. There's a hatch, but it's dogged shut. He tries the porthole on the wall, but it's just a screen, and his pawing hands press artifacts into the image. There's a hole in his right hand. He does the worst possible thing to get it over with. He raises his right hand before his face and drives his left index finger straight through it. It feels like nothing. Just a hole. He wiggles his fingers around. There's no sensation on the hole's rim. He bites the fingernail protruding through his hand. Still his finger. Still hurts. I'm alive, he decides. That's what seems important. I'm alive? He looks at the porthole screen. Outside, a Cav wearing an enormous sun hat and a safety green vest unhooking a cable from a towing latch. The ship has been hauled into a cavern or hangar. Alpharael prods the porthole until the camera swivels for him and aims at the cavern's open mouth. Dread leaps for his throat. Outside, he can see a slice of Cav settlement. It's a town on stilts, a maze of bright, half-permanent buildings beneath a forest of lightning rods and rigid kites. Cythera hangs, dust-reddened and enormous, in the stormy sky. He's still on Kavaron, and he has not escaped. A Sunstar Free Company patrol ship swoops over the town, a golden gladius with wings of light. The ship that shot him down. And from that ship rains an armoured rain, the tiny figures of solar knights descending on spikes of plasma. Photophoroi cling to tabor mechans like the legs of ballooning spiders. In the distance, a Hoplite Warmaker, like the one he stole, glides over a baked dirt runway, flashing its lasers at anything trying to take off below. The message is clear. No one gets to leave. They want him. I thought I got to live, he croaks. I thought you let me go. I don't understand. And it's not as if he can cry out to the monastery for help, is it? He abandoned his sacred charge. He's alone. Captain Sami! Alpharael shouts. Captain Sami! They're coming for me! Captain, we have to go! No one answers. He searches the cabin and finds a jet injector with a handwritten SEMA label. In case of further seizures, take this. He tries to use it to pry the hatch open. Of course, it doesn't work. He scrabbles around at the top of the hatch, the sides, the bottom, looking for some wire to pull or emergency release to trip. Nothing. Nothing! Except a sheet of mark-up rag fallen off the hatch and puddled on the carpet. He grips it in his normal hand and shakes it out to read. Gone out for fuel. Back soon. Toilet folds down behind the curtain, but don't use the suction. It's locked at maximum. Your delicates can't take it. Captain Sami. P.S. You are locked in there until we know you won't steal our ship. P.P.S. Please take the injector if you feel another seizure coming. P.P.P.S. We have a lot of questions for you. Steal it? You can't even fly it. Unless the ship has another friendly VIY, getting out is useless. He needs Captain Sami or he's dross. Nothing awaits him if he dies. No next eternity. No salvation. Just nothing. Nothing. Like the hole in the hand. Like... He stares at the hole. If he looks through the hole in his hand, he can see through the hatch. Depending on where he focuses, he can see the surface of the hatch, or the locking mechanism, or the corridor outside. It's a disorienting view. The corridor looks tipped on its side. Because they're on a planet, and the whole ship is tipped over from its usual rocket-like orientation. Okay, he says. Okay. Hole in the hand to the hatch, hand through the hand. He drives his left index finger through the hole in his right hand. It reaches out into the corridor. He tries not to blink, in case that makes the metal solid again, and traps his finger forever. His finger can't reach very far outside, but he fumbles around till he finds the lock, with raised buttons, thank him, and pushes buttons until the hatch clatters and unlocks. He shoves it open and bursts out, and nearly falls into a nest of wires. The walls, floor, and ceilings are all a mess of lights, power runs, data bars, and exposed cabling. Anything that pokes is wrapped in spray foam. He has to hop from solid panel to solid panel. A tacked-up rag on the wall across from the hatch reads, "If you do escape, please wait around for us to return. I don't think you really have a choice, and I really want to talk to you. Captain Sami. P.S. You are a mess, but I wasn't sure about your moors, so I didn't want to wash you." Wash can wait. Alpharael hops his way to the nearest intersection and follows hand-decorated signage to the cargo bay. The stasis cask waits in a ring of abandoned cav armor, like a tomb in a circle of standing stones. When they put him inside it, Alpharael recognized the model from Susa Secundi. Apparently Pinnacle really does gift everyone the same exact make. And that means Alpharael knows exactly how to shut it off. He rubs at the hole in his hand as the cask whirs up to real time. There's something inside he needs. Something that makes trouble go away. Revision 13. On the barricades. I don't understand why they haven't seen us, Sami admits. I don't think I'm this sneaky. The Free Company is everywhere. Surveillance drones spider across the sky on stabs of thrust. Search LiDAR flickers over Taroduand like an enormous freight clerk running a final checkout scan on the settlement. Lances of infantry pull barriers across the boardwalks. They must be here for Alpharael. It's proof of Sami's luck that the Sarima is parked in a cave off the slag fields instead of in the open at the airport. But sooner or later, the Free Company will figure out how Alpharael arrived. Someone will give up a description of the interplanetary ship that dropped off the dying soldiers. Or maybe someone won't. In an act of aggressive, unilateral solidarity, the Cav are raising 13 kinds of hell. A flight of kites catch a surveillance drone on their tether cables. A boardwalk collapses under passing troops as the seismic pilings relax into structural pasta. Smoke billows from a salvage fire as some Cav take a cutting torch to old rubber. A gang of Cav workers in fire gear turn their hoses of adhesive suds on Free Company troops.
"These Cavs,"
Tanook says with thick and bitter pride,
"do not like a snitch."
You could not ask for a better first mate or a worse fugitive than Tanook. The first thing he did, when he saw the pale star in the sky, was come and find Sami. Then he wrapped his poncho around Sami, and they ran off together. Sami huddled under Tanook's bulk. Sami had to stay exactly in step with Tanook's feet, but this is not hard, because Sami has got rhythm. "They're getting away with it too," Sami says. "Tan, is it just me, or are these goons acting a little rigid?" It's hard to see clearly through the poncho's weave, but it looks to Sami like the Free Company troops are just ignoring the Cav obstructionism. They're sweeping the settlement by a program, grid by grid, moving in echelons of lead and follow-up. It's methodical. Too methodical. They don't dodge or reroute around obstacles. They just keep on stubbornly going, even if it means clambering over a burning barricade or searching the depths of a flooded basement. They don't trust their own eyes, Sami realizes. Or their own sensors. Or anything. They're just... Oh my. Tan, I'm going to do something stupid.
"Don't."
Sami jumps out from under Tanook's poncho and waves at the nearest surveillance mechan. Hey! Hey! Over here! A Cav, nearly round with age and success, fires a distress rocket straight at the mechan. The sound and glare of its detonation tears away Sami's shout. A moment later, a wind-blown insulation tarp smashes into the mechan and covers its sensors. The machine tacks up, thrusters stabbing, trying to shake free. Sami dashes ahead to the ramp where the boardwalk descends onto a packed earth road that leads to the slag pit. A Free Company checkpoint blocks the way. Armoured soldiers push a Cav truck with a burned engine into a makeshift barricade. 2 officers with drone control packs scan the crowd with LiDAR, dots of light tracking the features of staring Cav faces. The LiDAR sweeps towards Sami. A Cav throws up a banner in front of Sami and roars,
"Our store, our world, our town. You have no jurisdiction. Get out or get buried. Kavaron that is not yours."
Someone revs up a blower and starts pushing smoke at the knights. Tanook tries to throw their poncho over Sami, but Sami grabs the edge and pulls him close. Tanook, we're in luck.
"What? How so? Seems to me we're stuck in a hangar with no fuel."
Their ship is still too dry to boost to Uthros and meet the metal man. They don't have a prayer of outrunning the Free Company ships overhead. We're in luck. They can't see us. We're too lucky. It's the rock, Tanook. The rock is lucky.
"Lucky how? Lucky as in it knocks you silly if you touch it? Because that's all it's done. And now it's safely in stasis, so it can't do anything else."
I don't know, but somehow... One of the Free Company officers fires up a microwave weapon. The crowd roars in anguish and Sami screams, one lone human wail among them. as all the flesh a millimetre below their skin begins to cook from the inside. Chinook whips his poncho over Sami. The insulated anti-lightning liner grants a moment of relief.
"Dan,"
Sami gasps, clutching at his giant thigh. We need to get out of here before things get bad.
Things were already bad,
Chinook says.
This is the better version.
"What?"
If you're right, and we're lucky, then this is the best version of our escape. And I don't like how it's looking for everyone else, Captain. Cavs love a riot, but the Free Company loves a chance to kill and call it greatening the sum. Disperse,
the Sunstar officer calls.
Return to your homes.
Cav throws storm ponchos over the little ones, over antenna, and tools that jet sparks. Something catches fire and flashes up. No, it's not, Sami says. A horrible chicken taste swells under their tongue. A horrible empty wind blows in their ears. The wind on Sigma, where the Chopwrights never sat down for dinner.
It's not what?
This isn't the best version of our escape. There's a better version. An easier version.
Captain?
The stampede takes off slow at first. A phalanx of Cav behind a wall of storm ponchos and sheet metal, tramping forward into the microwave field in a sputtering wave of sparks. The version where everyone's vanished, Sami says. Where there were never any sick Cav. Never anyone on Taro Duand. Just an abandoned settlement for us to loot some propellant and move on. We'd find their things, like we did on Sigma. We'd wonder, what happened here? Did everyone get sick? Was there radiation? Was there an impact warning? Did everyone just get on their trucks and go? A huge Cav core mail just up ahead, absolutely swollen on the change, rears up and begins to stamp his feet. Electricity sparks off his jewelry. He roars defiance and keeps stamping. But the truth is, we happened. We got lucky. And our luck was, everyone else was gone. Maybe that's how it happened on Sigma, too. Maybe there were people there, before we showed up. The crowd takes up the rhythm. The stomp, the stamp testing the ground, the bellow of challenge.
Captain, Chinook says, maybe we should just get rid of it. Give it to the Free Company. Tell the metal man we couldn't finish the job.
But Dan, Sami says, then he wouldn't fix our ship. And then who'd look for Miri? The Cav charged the Free Company checkpoint. Revision 13. Haliya kills. A team of photophoroi from the Moratorio Cosmogrand help her make her first combat descent. They assure her everybody falls on their first combat jump, and when she doesn't, they tell her she's clearly a badass and will succeed in all her efforts. Then they leave Haliya to prepare. She has to go in alone. The Anathalmanac made it plain that adding variables just gives the anathematic object more ways to screw with you. Her plan is to find the blind spots in Sir Vondam's search and search them. Once she's found the ship that seems most likely to spirit a fugitive monoist away, she'll board it and render it unflyable. If she's wrong, she's wrong, and she'll have to find another ship and try again. But she doesn't think she'll be wrong. She heads for the mined-out cavities along the town's slag field, where old prospectors search in vain for a second strike. The airport is under constant surveillance, so Alpharael won't go there. And where would you hide a ship? In these caverns, where ground-penetrating radar and thermal can't see. Along the way, she prepares her anti-object ritual. Follow the Anathalmanac entry. Take the distance to the nearest star reborn by the Dawnsire, or one of her sisters, in light years. Divide that number by your own age in minutes. Take the ones digit of the result. The purpose is to create a number determined by this place and your identity so that you have to be here in order for events to proceed. For her, on Kavaron, the answer is 6. For Sir Vondam, the answer is 3.
3. Pendulum encoding faith. Fashion from gleanings a triple-jointed pendulum. Dangle it from thy armour.
As she descends to the slag field, hidden under the camouflage of her war cloak, she snaps together 3 carbon fibre tent rods from her survival kit. The ball joints swing freely. She sprays Quick Fix on the bottom rod and glues on a bearing from a telescope mount as weight. Then she clips the top of the pendulum to an elastic band and settles it around her helmet, so it swings in front of her face, pulling her neck forward and down. She has to be sure it keeps swinging. Everything depends on it. A triple-jointed pendulum is a chaotic system, but chaos is not the same as disorder. In fact, the pendulum is hugely ordered, its motions determined exquisitely by her motions. So exquisitely that no one else's motions, even following precisely in her footsteps, could produce the same motion of the pendulum's tip.
VIY, she whispers. Every second I want you to capture the pendulum's velocity. Use that vector to select a passage from the faith space. Transmit the selected passage to the pale star for retransmission according to the instructions I gave you.
Broadcast the selected scripture to the nearest secure router of the faithful to be repeated in prayer every day for the next 1,000 years.
For the next 1,000 years, the exact prayers spoken by billions and billions of Sunstar believers across the edge will be determined by her exact motions here. And this web of causality would be altered in its entirety if the object removed her or substituted someone else in her place. The web fixes her in place. What she is doing is very simple, but she has no idea if it will work. Maybe, if it does work, she won't even know it. And if she doesn't, she certainly won't know it. She ignores the Anathalmanac's instructions about boiling water and keeping a tally. If there were supposed to be others with her, they are already gone. The pendulum swoops, armouring her against an enemy she can't fight. In the 3rd cave she checks, she finds a ship called the Sarima, with a fusion drive and an arc jet pattern that matches the signs near Alpharael's crash site. She backtracks, finds the Sundog with her armor's laser, and transmits.
Located interplanetary ship. Boarding now. If I don't report in 600 seconds, send in the photophori. If it rabbits, kill it. No sign of the object yet.
Then she checks her war cloak's settings, takes a breath, and trots into the cave. She trips on a chunk of half-melted alloy and goes down, swearing. Her armour saves her from skinned knees and torn-up palms. She throws her head back and sends the pendulum waving in a wild arc. Still swinging. Still swinging. And all those billions who will receive different verses of scripture because she fell, all of them are her armour. All those prayers. Allow her a little moment of pride. She feels like an angel on errantry. She gets up and moves on, her tongue clamped firmly behind her teeth. First things first, plant a charge under the Sarima's folded airfoil. Plant another against the shadow shield for its main drive, just in case. Then go in. Nothing happens. Alpharael clutches the weird rock in both hands and carefully speaks aloud. Bring Captain Sami back here safely. Get us off this planet and away from the Sunstar Knights. Didn't it tell him it was his special rock? Didn't it say he was powerful and important? Was that all just a dream? Is he trying to wish upon a stone? A panel on the wall of the hold chirps. Alpharael dashes over to it, hoping it's Captain Sami returning to get him out of here. But it's incomprehensible. The labels are written SEMA, but they all say things like Squackmaster DB and SickProg SCD and Modal. Whoever designed this, their writing cannot be semiotic standard. Behind him, the cargo bay's loading door whines and shudders into motion. He whirls. The door drops hard and fast, banging on the slag outside. The scent of lightning and hot dust rolls in, and his ears pop. A bright figure stands in the gap. Something scythes silently before it, back and forth, a severed mantis leg dancing. He recognizes the figure. He knows that armor. It's the wet rat. The pathetic woman from the Dawnsire is back for revenge. Alpharael brandishes the rock at her and shouts, "Vanish!" Nothing happens. For a moment, the bright figure just stares at him. Then she says,
"Is that the object?"
Alpharael scrambles for the nearest ladder. The bright figure shoots him. The gladiator ionizes the air between them with a laser and dumps a bolt of electricity down the invisible wire. Without armor, he is helpless. He says, "Gah!" and drops like a pole. The armored figure advances, fires again. Alpharael drools and grunts as his muscles seize up. He wills the gladiator to break. He wills Captain Sami to show up and shoot the summist in the back. He wills... The armored figure shoots him a third time. His head slams off the deck and he sees Rafaela and wishes she had never gone. He sees a slender waist, a beautiful face with nothing behind it. That's not Rafaela. What is that? The armored figure kneels over him. The metal rods swaying from her brow dance and jerk. With two armored fingers, she pries his mouth open.
"Can you speak?"
she says. He gurgles.
"It's my fault this happened," she said. "I should have held onto your ankle harder. I should have locked my armor. But now you've got the object. I'm supposed to kill you now, and myself. And Sir Vondam will destroy everything down here. Oh, the Cav. Maybe our own troops too. Maybe he'll fly the Sundog into the sun. It's awful. It's wrong. He's got a hole in his head. He's not himself. So, I'm going to do the right thing instead." She pushes something cold and round into his mouth. His jaw is still spasming, so she has to hold it open. He screams at her because the pain makes him furious. "That's a bomb," she says. "If it doesn't get my passcode every 10 seconds, it'll blow up. Now that it's in your mouth, I don't see how the object can get rid of it. Lucky guess on the code, maybe?"
She waits a moment. Alpharael counts to 10. He's still here. She must have sent the passcode.
"I need you to do something," the armored woman says. "I need you to use the object, even though it's anathema."
Yes. He nods. He'll do it. No question. He has given up paradise to live a little longer.
"I need you to change what happened on the Dawnsire," the woman says. "Look, here."
Her armor is studded with optics. It draws a hologram in the air above him. He sees himself, wild, drenched in steam, winding up to throw. In his fist is his singularity bead, the moment he threw away paradise.
"I need you to change things so that I was the one you killed," she said. "I can still survive, if you want, with a hole in my head, or I can die. But the important thing is that Vondam can't be harmed. The important thing is that Vondam's judgment goes unimpaired. He'll know what to do better than I. Then I'll have fulfilled my duty to die before my night."
She touches her helmet carefully, where the triple pendulum jerks and sways.
"I didn't use my birthday to select Protocol 3. I used Vondam's. It should be Vondam here in my place. All those prayers should be connected to him. If I stop the pendulum, can you make that change?"
Alpharael wishes very badly that Captain Sami would appear and shoot her in the back. Someone's coming to shoot her in the back. She's got a track on the incoming bodies. They're warm on thermal. They just don't seem very important right now. In her ear, the tactical circuit whispers reports from all over Taro Duand. The Free Company search is falling apart. The Cav have stampeded at 3 checkpoints, leaving dozens of their own dead, and driven a mining machine into the groundside tactical comms relay. Smoke and kites make surveillance patchy, and the Cav have electrified their lightning rods into makeshift jammers. Everything is going to chaos, but the Cav are accustomed to this chaos. They don't operate with Mechan comm relays and networked VIYs. They live like this. Dying seems to get them worked up.
"Buck, flare 2,
the drawl of a pilot aboard one of the Hoplite Warmakers.
I wonder laser illumination. Looks like a boost light for their planes. Permission to kill it, over.
Flare 2, Buck, do it.
Flare 2, capture. Blazing. Avispare, assholes.
The ground trembles.
Seeing a big secondary,
the pilot sends.
Might have hit the capacitors. Shit, I blew up half the airport.
Another voice, someone on the ground.
Buck, Mace 1-4, Maeve's ineffective. They're coming on quick. Request firebreak. Firebreak. Mace 1-4 in contact.
The nihilist Alpharael sprawls across the desk before her. Hateful, fleshy-faced man, pale and timid, splattered like a bug with the tails of his coat loose like wings. She wants so badly just to put the haft of her gladiator through his head. Everyone out there, Cav and Sunstar, is dying because of him. Because he didn't have the grace and courage to die in battle. But that's cowardice, isn't it, Haliya? Take responsibility. They're dying because of her. He is evil and does evil. It's his nature. She was supposed to stop him. But she failed. She failed her knight, and she failed the sum. Do it, she urges him. The object glitters in his hand. Change the past. Do it! Vondam's voice whispers into the bones of her jaw.
Squire, I have 2 squads ready to reinforce if you need it. Send your armor telemetry.
She doesn't know what to say.
Squire, this is Vondam. I'm getting a clear pingback from your armor. Have you found Alpharael?
Yes, she says. I have him.
Has he contacted the object?
Sir?
She swallows hard.
Shit, Vondam says. Oh, hell. It's here. It's with him?
You don't understand. It's not doing anything. He's at my mercy. It's just... Sir, you don't have to be Anstruth anymore. I can be the one it changed. You can be yourself again.
Silence. A helmet, monitoring all tactical traffic, skips from network to network.
Berserk, charging into the Maves.
Got dust filters. We need a skin gas down here.
Whole array coming online, targeting you. Buck, laser threat. Defend now. They don't stop when you blind them. Just go in through the eye socket. Get the brain. Stand by to engage. Weapons. District the nuncios on the airport. Power supplies first.
Then Vondam comes back.
I wouldn't even know what I'd done, he says. Selling you to have myself back. I wouldn't even know how utterly I'd betrayed you.
It's all right, sir. That's all right. You're worth it.
No, it's not. No one could be worth that. Not the Regent Maximum is worth that. Haliya, I am ordering you to kill him and return with the object.
That's not the protocol in the Anath Almanac. Neither is this.
I can fix this, sir. Let me fix it.
It's not you talking. It's the object. It's got you.
No, sir. I'm protected.
Good. Protocol 6 has worked in the past. Kill him and get out of there.
I used Protocol 3, sir, to suit your birth date. But it doesn't matter. The Almanac says we must proceed immediately to Protocol 7 now.
Silence.
You have to fire. Destroy me, the object, and the Cav.
Silence again. Her armor warns her that her prisoner's probably recovered enough muscle tone to move again. She considers the pathetic man and the rock. He betrayed his creed, and for that, this awful object said, "Yes, yes, you may now have power like a god's power. You were right. You were so special and so important and right. Come to me." He stares up at her with dark eyes. It would be so much easier to kill him. So clean, so certain. Then she'd know she wasn't under the influence of the object. But the sum says, do the greatest good for the most people, doesn't it? Now and for the rest of time. And how could she possibly do more good for the cosmos than Sir Vondam?
Sir,
she sends.
It's okay. You'll find another squire. It's a pretty good death. Go ahead and do it.
Get out, Vondam says. Move to the slag field for extraction.
That's not the protocol.
Haliya, I am ordering you to get out.
Sir, she says, you call me squire, not Haliya.
Squire, behind you!
The two heat signatures outside have reached the Sarima's boarding ramp. A Cav and a human. The human cries out. "Sarima, deploy!" They're both dead anyway, the moment Sir Vondam does what he has to do. And Haliya does not want to know what the Sarima can deploy against intruders. She lasers the human through the heart. The Cav roars in horror and anguish and pounces on the human, beating at its chest, licking at its pale head. It takes a surprisingly long fraction of a second for her Gladiator to burn through the Cav's throat and kill it, too. Alpharael wiggles and screeches and tries to grab her leg, but there's nothing he can do. Killing them feels awful. They never had a chance. She should have used the stunner instead, even if they would have died a few moments later. Now Haliya really does want to die. She wants Vondam to fire on her position and get it over with. She doesn't want to live the rest of her life with the memory of that Cav's terrible grief in her mind. Something jabs her in the ankle. She looks down and finds that Alpharael has jabbed himself in the hand with a jet injector. Only the injection has gone through his hand, through her armor, and into her. She has time to say, "What?" And then her muscles freeze. The last thing she sees before her eyes lose focus is the object, glowing with a faint pink light. A special thanks to all of my patrons, especially Owen Griffin. Thanks for watching and for your continued support.